All right, this is gonna be my portfolio. I know I'm a bad person, bro, and I didn't do the 1 minute videos, so I'm just kind of gonna do this. But I'm sorry again, I didn't do that. So the first thing I kind of wanted to start off with was I was in an urban setting. I worked with 7th and 8th grade students in math. One day I went to a social studies class, but that didn't have that significant of an impact. I guess I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think the main thing that I learned throughout this semester is that I don't think I want to be in an urban setting. I enjoyed working at Birmingham. I was at Birmingham, and I enjoyed working there, but I enjoyed the kids. I just don't think that's the place for me. Sometimes I wasn't comfortable. Sometimes I felt like the students pushed a little bit too much. I know how to handle that, but I think it might be kind of hard for me to handle. I don't know. That's just kind of me. I kind of struggled sometimes keeping them under control when I was like with them. Like at lunch, they would always swear, hey guys, you just knock it off, whatever, and they would just keep going. And I don't know, that kind of stuff, like that pushy, like edgy. I know I'm gonna get that anywhere, but that was definitely difficult in that setting because they all did that. They all swore. They wouldn't listen that well. I'm not saying that there's going to be a setting where they're going to listen to you and shape up, but I feel like it was more frequent than I've had it in the past. The next big thing I wanted to talk about was I did my inquiry project on standardized tests, and that's what I got to sit in 3 times on OAA meetings. And this was really cool because I had teachers actually talking about content and areas that I was interested in. I mean, before the inquiry project, like the first time I went in, it was kind of interesting, like because they took them every month. They took practice tests, and I was like, is that too much? Like, are the kids, like, do the kids care anymore? Like, what do they do? I asked them questions and stuff, and it was really cool to like get into it and mess around with it, like with other teachers, with other professionals, I guess. And it was really neat because they had a notebook and they kept one for each individual student, and they would like show their progress or their backtracking, I guess. So like it would show where they tested in math and English every time they took the tests, and then like they would give these students this information. They had binders for every single one of them. So it was really neat that they were like tracking the students' progress, but not only keeping tabs on it, but having them keep tabs on themselves. Like they have the students keep track of themselves, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, that was another big area I really enjoyed. Then I worked with a math teacher, and I learned a couple of things, and it wasn't right away from him, but I guess I said I worked with a social studies teacher one day, and the one day I went in there, it was right before spring break, so I think the students were a little bit more antsy. They wanted to get out of there, but he did some things that I wouldn't exactly agree with. I wouldn't say I wouldn't exactly agree with. I guess he did some things that I wouldn't want to do in my classroom, maybe. He was very argumentative. He got into arguments with his students like frequently. Like there was at least, I would say 5 times in each class period he would argue with them about something, and that was just not good. So that's what, and then he would say words like he would say the R word, and I don't even like saying it, but that's what referring to a mentally handicapped student. And it was like, whoa, you can't say that, you can't do that, and like they're just things like that, like, and he had other little tendencies, like stuff that he would do that it was just like, I don't want to do that when I'm a teacher. Like, I don't want to be known for that. Like, yeah, and so like that really made me realize like what I liked about my supervising teacher. I really liked Mr. Briggs. I think he worked really well with students. He had like he was kind of friendly sometimes, but not in a bad way. There would be once or twice a period maybe he would joke, not even for a minute. It would just be like a little joke, and then it's kind of like move on, we're going. But I think that made the students really warmed up to him because of that. They were comfortable with him. And yeah, I really liked that. I also liked how he engaged everyone, because not everyone in all of his classrooms wanted to be engaged. But he did the whole, I'm going to call on you a random thing, which I hated in school. But I think that was because if you got the wrong answer, like, everybody gave you crap, like, or at least you felt like everybody was like, oh, that, like, Christian's an idiot, like, I can't believe he said that, or, like, you know. But with Mr. Briggs, it was totally different. Like, if you said the wrong answer, he wouldn't say, like, nope, that's wrong, like, anything like that. It was just kind of like he would say, okay, let's look at it this way, let's look at it a different way. And so he would go through another process, maybe try to make it more simplistic, or just look at it a different way, like I said, and work through the problem with the student until they got the right answer, so that they couldn't feel that discomfort of being wrong. Maybe they did a little bit, but then by the end of the time, they got the right answer. Like, I really liked that, because he kept the students engaged, and he wouldn't let them give up on themselves. Like, he made sure that they all answered their questions and stuff. So yeah, I really liked that. He also had a lot of group work, which was really the main thing I learned last semester, but I really liked seeing group work with, like, older students, because I was with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders last semester. This semester I was with 7th and 8th. It was kind of interesting to see, like, how they worked differently. They never did group work over, like, a partner who worked, like, together or something, but that was kind of the beauty of it, or the downfall of it. Again, like, I learned pretty much last semester, like, if you got those 1 or 2 kids that don't want to do anything, and you match them up with somebody that wants to get their homework done, then that person that wants to do their homework is just gonna do it, and the kids that aren't doing anything are just gonna copy. So yeah, I thought it was pretty effective, though, because there weren't very many students that wouldn't do their work, and usually he would match them up together. So like, if they weren't going to do anything, they're just going to sit and talk to each other anyways. They're going to try to talk to each other either way. So yeah. And then I really learned, I had a class about reading in, like, middle school this semester, and that, like, I never really thought about reading much. Like, if I was a math teacher, like, how will I incorporate reading into my courses and everything, which that never really occurred to me that I needed to. But every Wednesday they had, like, I can't remember, they would split up into 4 groups, because they took the OAAs monthly, and so whichever students performed, like, in the bottom quarter would be in a group, and then the next highest quarter, next highest, and next highest, and they would all be in separate classrooms and work on, like, work that was difficult for them, but not too difficult. That would push them, and I thought that was really cool, how they split up, and they did that once a week, so that regardless of which like, it wasn't just all on, like, the English teacher. It was a group effort, and that's one thing that I really learned with, like, social studies is you can do all sorts of things that are going to get the students reading, even if it's just a little bit. You got to get them reading, because they got to keep learning, they got to keep growing as an individual. So yeah, those were probably, like, the main things that I really learned. I think the biggest is I didn't feel like I wanted to be in an urban setting, but I knew I had to try it. Never know until you try. I tried it. I liked the kids on more of, like, a friendly level. Like, I was in the classroom a lot, but when I was at, like, lunch with them, it was kind of rough sometimes, and I don't know, I fell out of my comfort zone. I didn't know how to relate to them all that well, and it was difficult for me sometimes. So yeah, that was probably the main lesson I learned throughout this entire semester. I didn't go to placement nearly as much as most people, I don't think, so And then having like the 2-hour delay days, I didn't get as much out of it because I probably went like 8 or 9 times because I started real late, and then 3 of those days were like 2-hour delay days. So I wouldn't get any actual like class time with the students. So it was like, okay, and he ran right through the lesson plan, and then here's your homework, see ya. So yeah, but all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. So thanks.